Hey losers, I'm Coral. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time tuning in, I read things that are weird and dark. So if you're into that, welcome to the party. Today I'm here with my TBR, tentative TBR, for March. March is Women in Horror Month. I've got a pile of books written by ladies that I am excited to get into, and then also I will be doing another round of owned longest book on my shelf and TBR star. First here, I'm going to be reading Skin by Kathe Koja. I've got a couple of her books that I haven't read yet, and why not? This one is about a woman who makes metal sculptures and also a dancer who get together and form some kind of like underground art thing. And I'm thinking that maybe the metal sculpting and like the body movement will somehow be incorporated into each other, although I don't know how. It says, breaking the boundaries of art, Tess and Bibi are plunged deeper and deeper into a realm of obsession until the lust for pain grows beyond all their control. So I really don't know what to expect from this, but I expect something weird because it's Kathe Koja. Then I'm picking up Motherthing by Ainslie Hogarth. I've been meaning to read this for so long. This is about a woman named Abby who doesn't have a good mother figure in her life, and that's something she has really yearned for. So when she gets married, she kind of looks towards her mother-in-law for somebody who could fill that role, although her mother-in-law seems to like really not like her for some reason. And eventually Abby and her husband move in with her mother-in-law. Her mother-in-law dies by suicide and then comes back to haunt them. So it seems strange. What a strange synopsis, and sad. And I know that there's also some like 1950s, 60s cooking in here, even though it does not take place then, I don't believe. Great cover, interesting synopsis. Love to get to it. I'm also planning on picking up Jawbone by Monica Ojeda. This is a story about friendship and also something weird going on with the teacher. It says that one of the girls in this, Renanda, is held hostage by one of her teachers. What does that mean? So it seems like there's some weird obsession going on here. I know that the girls themselves practice some kind of rudimentary like high school witchcraft that they've kind of made up on their own. So I'm sure that comes into it, but it just sounds strange, and I've really heard good things about it, so I want to read it. Then I've got a nonfiction here. This is Devil's Knot by Mara Leveritt, and this is a book about the West Memphis 3 case. There were 3 young boys who were killed: Christopher Byers, Michael Moore, and Stevie Branch. This takes place in the, I believe, the early 90s, and the boys were killed in a way that is kind of gruesome. I mean, it's the murder in itself is gruesome, but this was like extra. There was a detective in this area who really just immediately thought that it was this teenage boy named Damien Eccles who was kind of a weirdo. And so the detective like manufactures this way to incriminate Damien, and 2 other teenage boys get caught in this too, Jesse Miss Kelly and Jason Baldwin. It's really a sad story, especially considering that because these people, I believe, were wrongfully convicted, that means that there is someone out there who killed these 3 young boys and got away with it. So that's been it's like one of those crimes that I think of where it's like, if you could solve one, what would it be? And there's a few that I oscillate between, but this is one of them that I think of when that question's proposed. And finally, I would love to get to Woodworm this month. This is by Layla Martinez, and I really don't know what this is about. The synopsis is strange. It seems like there's some almost like magical realism stuff happening maybe. It says this is an eerie debut novel that is class-conscious horror that drags generations of monsters into the sun. I know that this is like a story, a generational story, or a story with multiple generations in it living in this house, and the house was built to isolate this woman. And now I believe she lives there with like her granddaughter or something like that. I want to read it. I've heard good things. Okay, now on to my star jar, and then my book I've owned the longest shelf pick. Here is the jar. Every time it's a green star. I mean, what do I expect? That's definitely what I own the most of. Oh, okay, this is a vintage horror title, Playmates by JN Williamson. Let me grab that. I own like 4 of his books and I've never read any of them, so I guess it's about time. Okay, I'm gonna read you the synopsis. The bodies were found hideously mutilated in a peaceful Irish wood. A banshee's wail struck terror into the hearts of all who heard it, signaling yet another horrible death. Demonic forces, dormant for centuries, prowled the countryside, and it all began with little Troy Quinlan's imaginary playmates, who gave her a pretty ring with a strange green stone, and who fulfilled her every wish. Only Troy's grandfather understood the devastating power of Ireland's ancient legends, and the evil that lay concealed beneath the fairy tale surface, waiting for an innocent child through whom its fateful power could be unleashed, waiting for a child like Troy. And then to roll my die for the shelf that I'm going to be picking a book off of. But where to roll it? I don't have space here. My daughter just called. I need to pick her up from school. So I rolled a 7. Let's go see what shelf that would be. So we're picking from this shelf right here, but I want you to see how Fangy's been laying on my chair. What a weirdo. Okay, let me go have a look and see what's going on here. This might be hard to discern what I've owned the longest. Actually, you know what? I do know. It's actually, looking at this, it's The Weekend by Christopher Pike. I've owned this for quite some time. Okay, let's read the synopsis of this one really quick. The weekend in Mexico sounded like a dream vacation. 4 guys, 5 girls, and a gorgeous oceanside mansion all to themselves. It should have been perfect. Except nothing was going the way they'd planned. Sorry, I'm just getting phone calls and phone calls and phone calls today, but that last one was Zach, so I did want to speak with him. Okay. Nothing was going the way they'd planned. There was the girl upstairs who was fighting for her life, the phone lines that went dead, and the explosion in the garage that could have killed them all. But not even that prepared them for what happened next. Because while they were getting some sun, someone else was getting revenge, and the terror wouldn't stop until the weekend was over. Okay. So that's my tentative pile of books for now. A lot of vintage horror this month. Well, those are the books that I am planning on reading in March. I'd love to know if you've read any, what you thought about them, what you're planning on picking up this month. I'm excited for March, but I'm also excited for March to be over already because I'm so excited to start my old school April shit. I've got big plans, book-wise and movie-wise, but I will tell you about that in another video. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. Goodbye.